Hello, everyone. Happy New Year and welcome back to Tea and Type. I am MK England. I'm the author of the forthcoming YA sci-fi The Disasters. It's coming out in December of this year because it's 2018 now. Yay, finally. It's been an eternity, so I'm happy to be here. And with me, as always, is my wonderful friend and co-host. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jamie Paxton, middle grade YA writer, MK's Pitch Wars co-mentor. No books coming out this year, but lots that I'm working on. So maybe there'll be news sometime this year. We'll see.
We'll definitely have news this year.
Yes, but Happy New Year, and so excited it's your debut year. Like, I swear to God, I've been waiting for this as long as you have. So stay with us through the fall. There's going to be exciting times on this TV show.
Yeah, I hope so. And apologies ahead of time for the terrible video quality, probably. I got a shiny new camera, which I thought would make things better, and it sure looks nice on my end, but my internet is still terrible. So I promise I will call Comcast tomorrow. I will hate every second of it, but I will do it. Just for you.
Just for... Perfect. We will take it. So I guess what we're going to do in our... What are you drinking? I almost forgot. Gosh, out of the practice here.
This is Tea and Type. Yeah, I know. I'm excited.
Yeah,
related gifts for the holidays. So first of all, I am drinking out of a mug that Jamie got that says "I turn tea into books," which should really be like the motto of this show, I guess. I am also drinking a really delicious tea that my wonderful sister-in-law got for me. Sherwood Forest by Riddle's Tea Shop. It is an Earl Grey with blueberry, and it's decaf because I'm drinking. It is delicious. It smells amazing and actually tastes just as good. So I'm very happy. How about you? What you drinking?
I'm drinking ginger tea out of a boring mug. However, wait for it. I also got some good mugs. I got a Girl Boss mug that I need to wash. And I got a Rosie the Riveter mug from one of our Pitch Wars pals. So stay tuned. At least I'm up in my mug game. But yeah, I have a host of beautiful new teas downstairs because I'm trying to cut back on coffee and alcohol resolutions. So.
Good plan. I'm going to be joining you there with the coffee, especially because I was doing so good. I was down to 1 cup of caffeinated coffee a day, and lo and behold, here we are, like 4 cups a day again. So I don't know what happened, but it happened. Yeah. So we're going to get back to tea.
Life happened, and that's a nice segue into what have we been doing? What were we wanting to do over winter break, and what happened?
What did happen, honestly? So winter break for me, I really deliberately try to take as a chill time. I do NaNoWriMo every year, so I always get really wrapped up in that. And then the first half of December, I'm usually trying to frantically wrap up whatever publishing type business I have going on before everybody just goes on vacation for like a month. But that latter half of December, I try to just let everything go, and I usually focus on fan fiction, to be totally honest. I read a lot of it. I indulge in one of my favorite seasonal hobbies, which is reading like holiday themed fanfic. Warms my heart, makes me happy. And also reading a lot of it because I don't write fanfic for the vast majority of the year because I'm focusing on other things. So I've unloaded like 30,000 words of new fanfic over the past few weeks. So there's that, I guess. So I did that. I didn't do a lot of other reading. And that's it. Yeah. As far as the actual break time goes. How about you? What did you do over break?
Well, first of all, I want to say I've read some of your fanfic, and I think they're great. And I think to casually unload 30,000 words of fanfic should not be like underestimated, because you're always like, "Oh, I'm not writing, I'm not doing it," and you're like writing these really engaging, funny, interesting fanfics. So glad to be one of the secret fans who read it. But I also, don't undervalue what it is and how much work it is.
Oh, I don't. I really believe in fanfic and fandom and all of that. So like,
totally.
Choir preaching.
Totally. What did I do? I chilled. I tried to recover after a really hard year. I read books. I bought books. I sat by my fire and I read Pachinko, which is I'm going to recommend this later. I read like a 500-page book in 2 days. I really kind of just rediscovered reading. And that's been a nice bit of just like getting up into the new year, because I'm like looking forward to, because one of my goals was to read 50 pages of fiction a day, and I ended up reading like hundreds, which is how I used to read as a kid and a teenager, 20-year-old. So that was kind of a nice, just like, oh yeah, this is why I'm doing it, because I liked books and I like stories and I like making them, but it all stresses me out. So, I kind of relaxed, and I watched a lot of Flea Market Flip, and I got a few like query rejections, and I'm still not sure what to do with this book I'm querying, because everybody says something different. So there's literally no. Let's see what the new year brings. I have a new idea that I'm secretly nurturing, and I wrote 200 words on it. I wrote very, very, very little. And that's really it. It's like, I think it's good to give yourself that time, especially like when you, I don't know, when you can. So yeah, but
yeah.
Now it's a new year.
But then January 1st rolls around, yeah. And I went into this year so fired up. Like, it's my debut year. I've got all these new projects on the fire. Like, I am ready to dive in. And January 1st, I hit the ground running. I met up with a writer friend, Leigh, who's been on the show a couple of times. And we worked together all day at the local Wegmans. And I finally, like, got over the thing that I've been fearing for months, and finished off my pitch for my second book of my contract, and then sent it off to my editor that day. And I was like, yes, look at me starting off January 1 so strong. Like, this is how I want to continue the rest of the year. And then everything fell apart. Not related to the pitch. That so far has gone well. We'll see what happens with that. But, you know, I had a death in my extended family and had to drop everything, go out of town for 5 days. And I just, since then. So I started off real strong and then let everything fall apart. Posted some new fanfic, so there was I'm really feeling the need to start this year over already. So I personally have decided that this Friday I'm off work. So this Friday is my new January 1st, and I am starting fresh January 1st. How about you?
I don't think you like let things fall apart when you have unexpected deaths in the family and stuff. Like, don't blame yourself for that.
Yeah.
I'm sort of taking the lazy river right now. I was talking all my big goals and things, and what I realized over the break is that self-care is kind of like a watchword for me as a writer this year, and kind of just like rebuilding up just sort of the part of me that likes to make things, you know, and so I'm gonna need to do some other, like, I need to like refinish some furniture or something to like be creative in a different way and then come back to it. So this idea, I don't know, I'm gonna let it grow. I'm gonna kind of like just foster it and like play along with the, like, I don't know the plot yet. I know a hint of the plot. I kind of know the characters, and so I'm just gonna give them some space, and I'm gonna write in a totally different voice, and I'm gonna kind of just see. It'll probably be the book that like takes off, because it's the one that I was like, take off the brakes, you know, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it, whatever, and
yeah,
we'll see.
Well, you know,
I had it
new year, time to try new things.
Well, yeah, and I had it played out among like genre conventions and things, and I'm like, nope, you know what, we're just gonna do something different. So anyways, all that's to say, like, I admire the starting anew and afresh. I think I'm gonna try and buckle down a little bit more, but I'm not gonna,
I liked what you said though about trying to be creative in a different way. I think I was listening to maybe the Pub Crawl podcast, and S.J. Jones was talking about how she does photography on the side as a way to just stretch a completely different creative muscle that has nothing to do with writing. And I'm really is to take 1 day a week totally off from writing, where I'm not allowed to think about it, not allowed to feel guilty for not touching it, not allowed to like work on my website or do anything else that is like writing adjacent to get around this rule, and just take 1 day a week to reconnect with reading, to reconnect with video games, to in my goddamn house, like, to just do all of these other things that I always neglect, because I feel like every free second that I have, I must be working on something writing related. So I really like what other people have been doing that I've seen so far, with like keywords for the year. And so I think one of my keywords for this year is resilience. I need to build some resilience, so that I make sure that I'm, staying healthy throughout the year. And then I'm just strong, that I don't buckle under pressure because I'm taking care of myself all along the way, instead of like totally collapse and then taking care of myself all at once.
Pause. Can I just say something? I think that all the stuff you're talking about, cleaning your house, doing something else creative, cooking food, whatever it is, like that's life, that's normal life. And I think when you're in the bubble of like writer Twitter or all of our Facebook groups that we have like together and separate, and then just all the goddamn pressure we put on ourselves to hit this or that deadline or milestone, or I mean, it's tremendous and it's soul sucking. We had a big conversation about this in our Pitch Wars group, and a lot of people that we know, or that, a lot of our mutual friends are really working on resilience or rebuilding, and they're at all different stages. Some of them are like me, they've left an agent, or, one of, their books didn't sell, or they didn't get the blurbs they wanted. Like everyone's kind of, I think, in this rebuilding pattern now, a couple of years down the line. And I think, giving yourself one day or maybe more, like I know this guilt you speak of, and I think that's what I got out from under over the break. And oh my God, I don't want to get back under it again, because it's a lighter way of living, and not to feel like, oh, I'm doing my dishes, therefore I'm not writing. Like, that's ridiculous,
It is ridiculous, especially when you put it like that. Do your dishes, people. Like, don't be me.
Or hang out with your husband, or laugh with your children, or take a goddamn nap, and like you need those things when you come back. And so much of my time as a writer, is spent on like Twitter, reading about what's going on, and that's not writing. That's not anything,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, it's hard because we are so sort of focused on building platforms and all of these things that we know we're supposed to do. But, all of these writing adjacent things can really eat up a lot of the time that should be spent actually writing. So, I know we both had a lot of goals going into 2018. And we'll have to report back periodically throughout the year to see how we're stacking up against those goals, and how that's how we're balancing our time and all of that. See if we can hit on some new strategies that will actually work long term. I'm interested in your 100 words a day thing, which has been going well for me so far.
Good. That's awesome. Not me. But I think it's interesting. We're also sort of like not a holding pattern, but we have projects that we're waiting to hear on. And so before we embark on either the next project in the sequence, or, just tackling a whole huge new project, we need a little direction. And that is an interesting place to be in as well, I think,
Yeah, I think those are the points in time that I struggle with the most, because I really hesitate to get involved in a new project. Mm-hmm. Else, I don't want to get totally sucked in and get into that headspace, and then suddenly drop it and switch gears. I don't work very well that way. So I end up chipping away at all these little side projects. I fiddle with my website for a little while. I write a little fic, I just do something else. And it ends up feeling like wasted time to me. And I'm like, hey, like you're waiting to hear back on a project. Like, that's okay. Maybe give yourself a break.
So, but maybe this is one of the things we want to talk about with setting structure, if that works for you or whatever. And maybe this part of this resilience is either saying it's okay to fiddle with that stuff, or take a month off to read books, or, you know what, just power through. Say, I'm going to get through an ugly draft of this new thing or that new thing, and I'm not going to be afraid of it, and I'm not going to like try and avoid it. I do think maybe middle ground there, but deciding might be, I mean, I'm a little scared. Like every time I say, I'm just going to power through this and get this book done, then I like in a way that's not always healthy. You know what I mean? Because it becomes that, I should be doing that. I should be doing that. And we can't always. So I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that? Like setting up a structure, or I don't know, what are some of your resilience plans?
Well, I think the thing that I'm like really, really focused on is the 1 day a week thing. That is like, I am going to make that happen for at least 2 months so that I can really evaluate if that's gonna work for me. Other than that, I have adopted your 100 words a day thing to make sure that I am not getting totally consumed by all of those writerly tasks that are not actually writing. Because they really do, you know, especially as we were, you know, gearing up for 2018, I was doing a lot of stuff for the Electric 18s group. That was just taking up an immense amount of my time and like brain power. And so I need to make sure that I am making some time for my actual writing. Even if it's just 100 words of prompt writing a day, or if I'm gonna, you know, try a short story or something like that. I am terrible at short stories. Like, I should figure that out.
Challenge yourself, right? Yeah.
Yeah. What about any ideas for, you know, things you want to try this year to add a little bit more of that structure, give yourself a little bit more consistent focus?
I think consistent focus and consistency is a good word, because I struggle with that. I'm a creature of whimsy and I like novelty. Oh, which is how I ended up with all this weight to lose and, you know, a fridge full of cookies that I can't eat.
What's more whimsical than cookies? They're so delicious.
Well,
yeah,
that is to say, like, I'm very good at making plans and sheets and lists. Oh, I love making lists. And I'm very bad at just kind of consistently doing it. So when I tend to write, I tend to like 2 months of intense writing, and then I just kind of don't, you know. And I think just setting more of a pattern or a routine, being consistent, you know, it's the analog of giving up sugar, right? But in a more joyful way. Like, if you can do it one meal at a time, or one, you know, just take 20 minutes and sit down and write that 100 words, like, that's what I need to do, because I feel better when I do it. I feel like a sense of accomplishment, right?
Yeah. I think one of the things that I really loved to see at the beginning of this year was Leigh Bardugo's whole begin as you mean to go on movement or campaign or whatever. It's a hashtag, BAYMTGO or something like that. But I really love that whole concept, and that's what I was really trying to do with, you know, going out on January 1st and spending a whole day writing and tackling something I was afraid of, and just like making progress at all costs, you know, to start the year off right, because that's, you know, I want this year to be my year of hustle. Like, I want to get shit done. I want to, you know, I have all these big goals for like how to make my book launch go well, and, you know, all of these kinds of things. And so I was really happy with how things started out. And, you know, even though I've had some interruptions since then, I still think that, you know, I did start the year off how I want it to continue. You know, I kicked off this whole like year of space thing that I'm really excited about, because I just love space a whole lot, and I want everybody else to love space too. And so I, you know, put out this playlist of space themed songs and stuff like that. And I'm going to start releasing like one thing a month that's spacey, just to help people get a little more space in their lives. Sort of thing gives me a theme for the year, and I don't know, I've always been one for ritual and theme and things like that. You know, I don't know why it works for me, but I love holiday traditions and stuff like that, despite being like the most non-traditional person in every other way possible. You know, I really like the sort of structure and familiarity, comfort and everything that comes with having of ritual or theme to cling to, I guess. And it helped me have something to fall back on to lose focus. I can say like, hey, this is the year of space, write some space shit, like get your shit together.
I love it. I love the year of space. I think that is amazing, and I can't wait to. Are you going to put it in your newsletter too? Because that's where I saw this Leigh Bardugo thing. I got it through her newsletter, which is a good tip. Subscribe to writers' newsletters. There's lots and lots of good stuff in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll go in my newsletter for sure. I sent out my first issue of my newsletter on December 18th, which I think was our last episode, actually.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's exciting. I'll definitely be done.
But I think a theme is good. I don't have a theme this year. I don't do themed birthday parties. I'm fairly worthless as a mother like that. My kids, my best friend is like, Oh my God, she's amazing. The cakes are all perfectly themed, and like the guacamole
Nope,
is like lizard barf, and like
I think we should ban the word worthless from this, and we should also like, you know, don't like idolize that. You know, of course, I'm sure you could talk for hours and hours about like the mom culture in this country, and you know, trying to do all of the perfect Betty Crocker things, and like.
no, wait, it's no judgment. I mean, like, worthless maybe is the wrong word. My best friend Ashley excels at birthday parties. It's like one of her things. It's actually one of her creative outlets. I make my kids a cake. We have pizza. We watch a movie. My kids are really happy. Maybe they don't know any better. So it's not worthless. It's just knowing your strengths, right? And so like your space is a wonderful thing to keep you focused. Because I although I will buy you space gift bags because I do like that kind of stuff. No, I'm kidding. But I think knowing your strengths is a good way too to be successful, because when you're getting into all of the stuff that you say that's adjacent to being a writer and beginning as you mean to go on, I think Leigh Bardugo even said that in the newsletter. It was like, whatever it is it writing? Is it cleaning your apartment? You want to keep your apartment more tidy? Okay, then start out the new year by, you know, organizing your bookshelves or cleaning your bathtub. Like, know what you can do reasonably and what you're good at or what your strengths are. And so anyways, I applaud the space thing. And I say that, you know, it's a very, very good for you, but old crappy birthday party thrower over here says not so much. I'm just kidding. Look, I threw a great party at a gymnastics place this year. I really did. It was bounce houses and fun, but it was an effort, you know.
Hey, so. If there's cake and pizza, I'm happy. I'm there. So.
Right. Anyways, all right, we gotta do our recommendations and get out of here.
Yes. What do you recommend this week, Jamie?
I read 2 books. I read Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. It was a National Book Award finalist. It's about sort of a sweeping family epic. It's a book that Roxane Gay said it was her favorite book of the year. She read it in one night. I didn't read it one night. I read it in like 2. So it's epic about a family in South Korea who immigrates to Japan and kind of, I think 4 or 5 generations. And it shouldn't have been so compelling, but the characters were so good and it was immensely readable, and you kept wanting to know, like, would this work out or something like that. So I read that. And then I also read The Night Circus, which I've been meaning to read forever. And I was utterly charmed by it. I wish I could read it tomorrow again without knowing what was going to happen. It's very stylistically different. It's structurally interesting. It evokes this like dream type quality. It's amazing. I loved it. The goal of my life is to maybe write a book as amazing as that someday. Marginally as amazing as that. It was awesome. Yeah. What about you?
That is a hell of a goal. I have been meaning to read The Night Circus forever.
Please
so
do.
Maybe I'll
then we can
finally get around to it.
Forever. Yes.
Yeah.
I think you could listen to it too, and it would probably be cool. Like, I think it would translate very well to that.
Yeah, I've heard the audio is good, and I tend to like to read that sort of like mystical, magical, quirky kind of thing in audio. So, yeah, maybe I'll try and get hold of it. For me, I am just going to recommend some bullet journaling supplies because if you follow me on Instagram, then you may have seen some of my like bullet journal photos that I've been posting lately, because this is one of my things that I do that helps me, that helps with my mental resilience, keeping things organized and having a little bit of a creative outlet. So I finally splurged and bought like the nice fancy bullet journal that everybody uses. It's the Lecterm like 1917 or something like that. I'll post a link
in
the show notes. Yeah, for sure. But you know, it's got all this like nice dot grid paper. You can't see shit, sorry.
Too blurry.
You know, but made bullet journaling easier for me because I don't have to sit there with a ruler and like count things out and measure things. And so I've been able to do like pretty pages and like have fun with it and, you know, keep myself organized. And keep track of things like my writing and my social media and stuff like that. So I'm really enjoying doing that. And this particular type of journal has helped me with that. And I've also gotten a lot of comments about the highlighters that I use because they're wonderful and I love them. These are the Zebra Mildbangers. And so they're great because they don't bleed through pages. They're very, I use them a lot like markers, but Yeah, they don't bleed like highlighters. They're pretty cheap. I got a bunch of them for like $15. And I really enjoy using them. So yeah, give them a shot. I'll link to those down in the show notes too.
Bullet journaling is such a good way to find a creative. Like you can do art, you can like while you're organizing, and you can include poetry, or you know what I mean. Like it's a nice, just sort of way to combine all of that without having to like take photos or strip furniture of paint or something, you know.
But do those things too if you want to.
Right, for sure. But I'm just saying, you know, if your work schedule doesn't allow, then you can like
absolutely
jam in your bullet journal a little bit and feel good about it. Yeah. All right. So what do we next time? We'll be back next Monday. It's Martin Luther King Day, right?
Monday, January 15th, we'll be back with another episode. Now that we're back into the groove of things, we're gonna probably dive back into some more craft topics. And you know, as always, if you have anything you want to hear about, then just let us know via email at ttypewrite@gmail.com or just over on the hashtag on Twitter, #TandType. And that's it. I think we are done for the night. So you can head over to Twitter. We're going to do about a half hour of writing sprints. See if I can get a few more things done tonight. So, thanks for joining. Yes. You know, don't forget to there so you don't miss our next episode. Yeah. This has been Tea and Type. Let's go make some words together. Bye.
Bye.
See ya next week.